Uh, hey, hey, Andy, are you there?
What the heck?
Hey, Lindsay, she's gone. I don't know where she is.
Did you hear from her or anything, or
No,
did you get a note from her mother, or
I didn't get a note from her mother.
did you hear from her or anything, or
She might be asleep. Did you wake her up? Did you set her alarm clock?
maybe she's asleep?
She's definitely asleep, isn't she? Uh-oh. Andy, we're live.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? Where is Lindsay? She ain't on prime time. Hey, everybody! Oh, yeah! It's another Tuesday night, and, it looks different tonight, Jay. But you know what? That's prime time, right? That's how we roll. But tonight we're really lucky because Miss JoAnn Peterson, Director of Training and Development, is with us tonight. Hey, Jo.
Hi.
Welcome to PT.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Where is Lindsay? It could be a new game called Where is Lindsay?
Where's Lindsay?
Yeah.
We could play Lindsay. Okay, she didn't get fired or quit. We just need to clarify that real quick. First off, welcome to Primetime, everybody, the Guitar Nerd talk show where we talk too much. And we have guests on. JoAnn Peterson. Welcome to Primetime, Jo.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Are you ready to have some fun?
I am so ready to have some fun.
All right, this is going to be fun. Now, let's get back to Lindsay. Lindsay works with me on our marketing team, on our artist relations team, and she's actually on a plane right now. And she has connectivity. We tested. All right. She's on a plane right now, flying back from Nashville, because we are doing something very, very special. We filmed something very special in Nashville yesterday. And everybody will get a sneak peek of this when it premieres in Wood and Steel this coming June. So next month we're going to anyway, we have this project and only Lindsay she's the only person who could get it done. See, mom, I know you're watching right now. Lindsay and JoAnn are two ladies that also make me smart. You're a responsible mom, but they are the two other ladies that make me smart, right? And Heather, my wife, she's back there yelling.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Don't forget her.
I don't. She's gonna yell because pretty soon I think we're gonna do the draft. But Andy,
yes,
we did not get any hate this week.
Okay.
We did
that's
not.
Like that's like a month of no hate right now.
It's a month of no hate.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to sing a song or not.
Yeah.
What do you think? You want to sing a song?
Yeah, I can do a Feel the Love song since we're not getting any hate.
Okay, so Feel the Love song, and then we're going to talk about JoAnn because JoAnn makes us all so much smarter at Taylor.
Right. First of all, are you worried about not getting any hate? Or do you kind of like it?
No, I kind of low-key enjoy getting a little hate.
You like putting your arms, you like doing the big hug your hater thing.
I know.
You can't do that.
I do, but you know what's also awesome is we get emails. We get a lot of emails. And sometimes we'll get, someone will critique an episode or something like that. And they often start with, "This isn't hate." It is.
Them.
Whatever. I like the hate, but I also like to show some love. So would you like to show some love?
Thanks to everybody watching tonight's Primetime. The low, no budget guitar show. We try to have some fun and teach y'all a thing or two. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes our hosts don't show up. But we feel the love for our little show. Maybe you feel it too. Maybe you've got nothing else to do. We never know what may happen, and soon we will see. Tonight we are only three.
It's good.
Oh, Lund. Oh, bravo, man. Your songs are so fantastic. JoAnn Peterson, Director of Training and Development.
Yes, Mr. J.
For all of Taylor Guitars. All right. So I've started this new little thing. This is a get to know session for everybody in the feed. Thank you for joining us tonight. You're going to learn a lot from Joe. This is great. All right, Joe, we've started to do these get to know sessions, right? The last one we had was Dave Pelletier.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when we're getting to know folks that we work with at Taylor day in and day out. So we're doing this thing called a LinkedIn Bite. This is my LinkedIn Bite from JoAnn. Strategic global learning leader responsible for driving the learning and development of global training strategy, roadmap, and implementation. Joe, did you write that?
Wow, yes, but I wrote it a long time ago. I forgot.
LinkedIn Bite.
LinkedIn Bite.
JoAnn's LinkedIn Bite. Joe is one of the smartest people we know. And so, you've been a fan of the show, which is great because in the beginning, before we go live, we do a little pre-production and Joe was remembering episodes. We're on episode 43. Lund, we've done 43 things, which is
crazy.
Wow. We started. Do you know if we started this? When did we start this? A year ago? When did we start this? We need to figure that out.
It could be a trivia question, Jay.
That could be a trivia question. Not tonight, though. Tonight's trivia question is fire. I can't wait for it. So tonight's prize is a black suede strap, a Taylor care package, and a wall hanger. Exotic ebony wall hanger. Exotic. I want an exotic wood wall hanger.
I don't have one either.
You don't have one?
Nope.
No.
You know somebody I can buy.
I don't have a sign. I don't have a cool sign like you. I have a Yellow Submarine record, but I don't have your cool guitar or your holder there.
This is metal.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like a album cover on metal. Anyway, back to Joe. Joe, thank you so much for joining the show. We didn't have any hate tonight, but you are our second guest for the newest segment we have called The Draft.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
We don't know the subject for the draft tonight. So
okay.
Doing it is our social media manager, Matt Steele, is picking the subject for the draft, and Gabriel will post it up on the screen so that we see it. And because I have communication with Lindsay, I will do my best to get her answers so she can join in for the draft. Okay.
Okay.
Gabriel, roll the clip. Oh no. Do you have a song, Andy?
Jay's got a new game. Please don't laugh. Play the new game. Play the draft. It might make you happy. You might need to take a bathroom break. But it's a new game called the draft.
I think last week we figured out that we need a time clock. So we're going to do our best to keep our answers to 5 seconds. Woo. And then next week we'll get a time clock. How's that? I like the idea of a time clock. But see, it's a new game and we're still trying to figure it out. All right. So Gabriel, are you ready to show us the draft? Wait, let me explain the draft. Here's how the draft works. If you weren't here last week, we are going around in a circle. We are going to get a subject. Last week it was, we're starting a record label. We have to choose 5 bands to start our record label with. Each had to pick 5. Okay. This week, I don't know what it is, but we're going to draft 5. So it's like the NFL draft was last week. We're drafting whatever we're drafting this week. All right. That's the rules. Gabriel, what is the subject? Tonight's draft. 5 bands or artists to score a movie. Hans Zimmer, John Williams, and Danny Elfman are off.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
Okay.
It could be what kind of movie? Like Joe, I know you're a big country music fan. It could be a Western.
Well, you never know. They could do all kinds.
Oh,
does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. This is a good one.
Okay.
Good one. All right. Joe,
Mm-hmm.
you can do the honors. Who is your
All
first
right.
draft pick?
How about Mannheim Steamroller?
Ooh, look at that. With fire. Wow. Hold on. Go ahead, Andy. I'll get Lindsay.
Johnny Greenwood.
Wow. All right. I'm going to go with Explosions in the Sky. All right, cool. Lindsay, ready? She texted me like that. Are you ready for her first one?
Uh-huh.
Quincy Jones.
Nice.
Lindsay's way too good at this game. Okay.
Nora Jones.
Nora Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a good one too. Andy.
I was trying to think of Grandpa Jones. I was trying to go with Jones. That was the only one I could come up with. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the late great Neil Peart.
Ooh.
I think that might be pretty cool.
That's a great one. All right. Oh, this is so hard. You know what? I got it. Chris Stapleton.
Oh, you took mine.
Okay.
Oh, I got you. Okay, hold on. Lindsay, Terrence Blanchard. Oh man, she's good at this. Andy, she's so good at this.
Terrence Blanchard. Wow.
How about Elton John?
Ouch. That one just took come on.
That one's gonna make all the money.
That one's gonna make all the money. It's Elton John. Who you got, Andy?
I don't know his name. I know. Maybe the chat can help us out. The musician known as Beck, his father is a well-known string arranger, and I'm embarrassed that I can't remember his name right now. But like this, all the strings on the Beck records, there's his dad's stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and we can't use the Googles on this, huh? Probably.
You can use the Googles, but I mean, you're running out of time.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say Beck then.
Well, Beck would be a good one, man.
I think that would work too. Then he could get his dad to help, I think.
All right. You know what? I'm such a fan. They're Taylor players. They just had a new record come out last week, and it was on Billboard's number. It was number 3 on the Billboard charts this week. Andy Hull and Manchester Orchestra. Absolutely.
Hmm.
A good. Oh yeah, that's it. Lindsay Love. She's so painful. RZA. I wanted RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. All right, Joe, who's your number 4?
Oh, I'm trying to think of who, since you stole Chris Stapleton. Okay, how about Zach Brown?
That'd be a good one
Right?
because he's dynamic. He can do so much.
He is very dynamic. I love his shows.
Anybody ever seen Zach Brown play live? When they cover, the Zach Brown band sometimes covers Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
They blow it away. It's amazing. Okay, Lund.
Paul Simon.
Oh, that's so good.
You took mine. Oh, I was holding on to Paul Simon.
Who? Oh, what is his name? Oh,
Okay. We're gonna go with Sam Beam, Iron and Wine. Sam Beam, also a Taylor player. Sam Beam, Iron and Wine. Lindsay. Ludwig Göransson. Huh.
She's too hip for all of us, Jay.
Mhm.
She has her own show.
I know. It's unbelievable. She needs her own show.
Yeah.
Was it is his name Paul Williams, and he was kind of a shorter gentleman, blonde hair, and he just played the piano crazy. Is it Paul Williams?
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
That's a good one.
Paul Williams, so you're number 5. All right.
Yes.
Nelson Riddle.
That's a good one.
You can't say that you wanted Nelson Riddle, Jay.
I did not want Nelson Riddle, but that's a good one. Public Enemy.
Mm.
Is that 5?
That's 5. Lindsay. Whew. It's spinning.
It's
It's spinning. Leslie Bricusse. Am I pronouncing that way? Bricusse. Who's that? The Googles. Yes, Hunter. Slayer. Yes. Hunter goes with Slayer.
Okay.
Last week he goes with Motorhead. All right, cool. The draft. All right. That was awesome.
Whew.
Whoa, you said you were worried about the draft. I wasn't worried for you.
I was a little worried about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
Didn't know what was going to come up.
Oh man, that was a good one though. That was a good one.
It was.
Some of the answers in the feed are great. John, of course, Weird Al
Oh,
Yankovic.
Weird Al. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Tobias Dweezil.
So, Zappa.
Ben Harper. He was on the show. That is a good one.
Oh.
Of course you know this. He doesn't know that. He Googled it.
He Googled it. He didn't have 5 seconds to. He had no time constraints.
Yeah, no time constraints.
Jimi Hendrix.
The good one. John Legend. Yes, John Legend.
Mm-hmm.
John Legend. Absolutely John Legend. Man, who else?
I was thinking about Santana too.
Oh, that would be a good one. That is a good subject. Score a movie, not a soundtrack. Just, a score. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, Joe, you know how this show works. I asked the question of all questions. The question is, JoAnn Peterson, what in the heck do you do at Taylor Guitars?
What do I do? All right. Well, I think I have one of the coolest jobs besides being here at Taylor, but what I get to do. And my job is to make sure that all of our employees know how to do their jobs or what's important to them and to do it the Taylor way, pretty much. So I do a few different things. My team, I have a small but mighty team as part of the training department here at Taylor. We have 7 people right now. We have 5 that are here in El Cajon, and we have 2 in Mexico, and we're looking for a 3rd in Mexico. And we create the content and train our employees is one of the things that we do, all the way from someone who has no experience whatsoever to work on the factory floor, all the way to those who come in as luthiers. And we create and have a whole training team that gets them up to speed on how to do their job. So from a new hire perspective, our job is to, once our amazing recruiting team finds them, that we get them an orientation and we teach them all about the Taylor way. And what does that mean? And it's a little different for everybody's role and responsibility here. So that's part of what we do for our production folks. If they have never worked or on a guitar or with wood or in a factory, we actually teach them the Taylor way and get them up to speed so they can build our wonderful guitars. That's what we do from an internal perspective.
Okay. So, Joe, in a weird way, the success of the company rests on your shoulders.
There's no pressure there. None.
No big deal.
No big deal.
That is the truth. So I first met you on my first day.
Yep, I get to meet all the new hires. I open up orientation for every new hire when we were having them in person. Absolutely.
And on April the 1st, 5 years ago, so 2016, right? That was my first day. So I just celebrated 5 years at Taylor Guitars, and you and Sarah were probably the first two people I met.
Awesome.
Oh, well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for I passed the test, Andy. I'm still here. I passed the test.
Joe, were you worried about him at all when you first met him?
I really wasn't sure, but it seemed to work out. It seemed to work out okay. We get to, like I said, I get to meet all of the new hires. I'm the one that welcomes them when they come to do orientation. And we have a pretty cool program for new employees. And Jay actually has helped us over the years to even enrich it more. And it is a day of just all Taylor. And they get to learn about our culture and what makes this so special. On all of our safety, why it's important that we're all here and doing the right things. And then a tour. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen just in that first day. But when Jay started, we also had, did you go through Guitar Fundamentals too? It's a 2-day course that our team actually puts on for 2 days. And what did you build? Did you build a cutting board? What did you build, Jay? What did you do with your shape?
I built a cutting board. We built a cutting board, right? And it's the baby Taylor shape. It's the actual baby Taylor shape. And you go through each process of the build, right? And some of it'll give you anxiety because you're actually working on real production instruments. Right? Say in final assembly, you're working on the instrument that we're building for someone.
Yes.
Right? So when I give factory tours, it's a kind of a built-in joke that I apologize if you own one of those guitars that I touched. But I passed the test. It was fantastic. I think that was something that was really cool at Taylor's, different than any other place that I've worked, where every single person that comes in, doesn't matter if you're an engineer or working in on our logistics team or in our finance team or in the marketing team, etc. You actually have to put your hands on guitars and learn processes. I think was that your idea?
No, I cannot take credit for that. So that is called our production onboarding. And you're right. Every employee goes through it. It was already in place before I got here. And it's just an amazing way to share with all of our employees what our core competency is. And that is, how do we build these quality guitars? And that is exactly what we want to show people is this is what our core competency is. Every one of us, our number one focus, no matter what department you're in, is to build quality guitars. So our hands might not necessarily be on the guitars, but each thing that we do, all three of us, we don't build guitars every day, though we impact the quality of those guitars. And that's one of the reasons that the team came up with it, is to make sure that every employee actually understands what we do and how we do it, so they can see what part they play in the role that they have here at Taylor, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty special. It's unique and it's pretty special. And that's right. We get that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, make guitars, and quality is in our logo, as you can see behind me.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard. That was
Yeah.
anyway, quality guitars. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you're a natural leader, a natural educator. When you were younger, is that what you wanted to do? Was teach?
It's funny because I really didn't know what I really wanted to do. My mother used to tell me that I was a bit of a drama queen in the positive way. To be on stage. And so it is interesting to me that this is what I ended up doing. I actually started in sales, and I was in sales for years. And it just kind of fell into my lap that I love to share and to teach other people. And I am a lifetime learner. And I think that those things kind of just fell together for me. And lo and behold, this is what my career came from. So I came from sales and worked my way into in training and development.
Where did you work before Taylor?
So right before Taylor, I worked for Sony, Sony Electronics, and I ran their training team for the U.S., which was kind of cool. I did that gig for about 5 years before I got the call from Taylor to say, "Hey, would you be interested in?" And then my life changed once I came to Taylor. And prior to Sony, I had my own consulting firm, so I worked with companies all over the world and focused more on strategic planning and consultative sales and negotiations. So that was cool.
Okay, a bit of a sidebar question, but
Mm-hmm.
you remember that phone call? Do you remember when they called?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you remember the dance move that you did on the other side of the phone?
So are you referring, so there was 2 calls, right? There was one call when they said, "Hey, would you be interested in coming to talk to a company, local manufacturer in San Diego that's looking for someone to head up their training department?"
You
That
were
call,
headhunted. You were headhunted. Okay, so
yes, I was.
all right. The
Mm-hmm.
call that you received getting the offer, that dance. What was that dance?
Oh my gosh, it was just the happiest dance ever. And, just talking with Sean. My first interview with Sean, who is our VP of HR. And we were supposed to only meet for about 45 minutes, but those of us who love Sean know that sometimes they go a little over. I think it was about 2.5 hours. So it was, and then when she called to offer me the job, and it was great.
Yeah, Sean. We should have
Mhm.
it would be awesome if we could get Sean on this
It
show,
would be.
right? But
Yeah,
we would do nothing. Sean and I would do absolutely nothing but talk about our dogs. That's
probably.
Sean and I will be on meetings together, and we'll be texting each other back and forth pictures of our dogs. No
Mhm.
joke. The last year was our dogs were therapy. So anyway, okay. So back to the questions.
Yes.
Why is it so important for you or Taylor to look past the doors, our own doors, and develop the network of Taylor dealers? Because that's one of the things that you do. We have
Mhm.
developed a learning management platform. We call it TGU Online, or Taylor Guitars University Online, and that's again, there's the success of the shoulders low key. It sits on you. I mean,
Mhm.
where well, but why is it so important for us to actually educate our dealers
You
on?
know, it's in 2015, we started talking about the best way that we could reach all of our dealers and the sales associates who sell our guitars. And we know that with our strong and our small and but mighty sales team, there's no way that they could get everywhere and train every single dealer and their sales reps. So we needed to come up with a tool that allowed them to know about Taylor and to learn Taylor's story, because the more confidence you have when you are selling something and the knowledge you have about that, the easier it's going to come across. And so making sure that we created a platform, TGU Online, we actually launched it at NAMM in 2016. And at the time, we weren't really sure how many users we were going to get. And within the first year and a half, we had over 5,000 users worldwide. And I think
Uh-oh. We lost her.
Does she know sign language?
You might know sign language.
I don't know sign language though.
We lost Jo.
She's muted.
You're
Like
muted.
she's muted. No, she's unmuted.
Am I back?
Yep.
You are.
Oh, okay, yay.
All
Okay, cool. So anyway, we just we went from 5,000 users within the first 2 years with about 35 courses to now we have over 150 courses, and we're playing level with about that 5,000 number because we know that the retail sales folks rotate, and so we get new users all the time. But it's really about teaching our or showing what the Taylor culture is about, how we make guitars, what are those appointments that are so important for you to know, and really it's just a network for our dealers to grow with us. And when our salesmen can't get out to their stores, we have another tool for them to learn about Taylor.
It's a big deal.
It's a bit of a big deal. Yes, it is. You know, it's a balance. Of course, our first priority are our employees worldwide, which we have almost 1,200 employees worldwide. So, making sure that we're meeting all of their needs. And then also making sure that we're helping our dealers to become successful. And, we are an extension of them, and making sure we're giving them the tools to help them to be successful. And so, we've done a really good job, I think, of getting the right people in the right places. Of course, we leverage you, Jay, for some of our video, but we also have Al. And he is a Grammy winner photographer. Grammy. Sorry, yeah. Am I mute again?
No. Emmy.
Okay, Emmy winners. Thank you. He's not a Grammy. He's an Emmy winner, photographer or a videographer. And then we have an instructional designer, Christina. We have luthiers on our team. And you know what? We just make it all work. The team just works really well together. And it takes everybody. It's not just the training team. We leverage marketing, and we leverage sales, and, we leverage our HR folks, because we're all on the same team. So it's really important for us to do all of those things.
Tobias is big.
Yeah. Paul, thank you.
Andy, what did you first think about TGU Online?
I thought it was a great idea because it allows people to kind of study at their own pace, and at their own time. And part of when you go into work with a retail employee at a store or manager, it's really hard to get their direct attention because the phone is ringing, customers are knocking on the door, they need to answer emails, the UPS driver's coming, all that stuff's going on. So it's difficult to get a group in a room for an hour and not have them worried about looking around trying to figure out if they're missing a customer and a sale, right? Because you're taking up their time. So when they can do that on their own, I think that's a real powerful thing. And also what's been really interesting to see and fun to see is the evolution of the program, because it's really how many languages are we in, JoAnn?
So we're moving in. Well, we have Spanish, and we're moving into a few other languages. I think our next one is going to be Italian, and then we're going to do French and German.
Awesome.
It takes a little bit longer because we have to, close caption all of the videos, and so there's a little bit more work to do with that, but we're definitely moving in that direction.
Well, that's job security for Jay, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, and Alex, yeah, actually both for sure. And one of the other things we've done for our external TGU is that as our sales reps out in the field, they were doing the courses, they were actually accumulating points so they could earn Taylorware and guitars. And I think that when we had enough courses for them to take and to get credit for, I think within the first 2 years after we hit our threshold, we had like 1,200 guitars that year that people across the world had earned for taking our courses, which is super cool.
Super cool.
I don't know how you do it. You do a fabulous job. Will you run through just a brief run through of maybe some of the content that you would, this goes bigger than just what kind of tone wood is on a specific guitar.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, there's more content. So walk through briefly what your team has to create when we're doing a new product launch.
So first internally, it comes first for the internal, and we are connected at the hip with our engineering and R&D group. So we know that a new launch is coming, and we work really closely with them to figure out what it's going to be, what it's going to be called. And we first create, this is something we started recently, is a heads up doc. And this document is for everyone in the company, predominantly for production, that says, hey, this guitar is coming down the line. Here's what is included. Here's the measurements. Hey, here's some pictures, the appointments, and all of those things. And then as it gets closer to actual production, then my team creates what's called a hands-on doc that says, hey, specifically in the mill, this is what's going to happen differently on this product. And then finish, and in the body department, and the neck department. So they actually are given details about what's going to happen. So that's one thing that happens that we do with a new product. Obviously, the other thing is, as the processes change in the factory, then engineering creates standard work docs, and we need to make sure that they get out on the floor. If we get a new machine in, I think that Mark, what was the new saw that we just got in that Mark Moore, when he was on a couple weeks ago? I can't think of
the liner saw. The
yes.
liner saw, yeah.
Yeah, so like that is new to the milling department. So, they're going to videotape it. They're going to do a safety a certification on it, and they're going to create all the content needed so then our employees can work safely on that machine. So it varies depending on what's happening on the floor. If the finish is different, we just finished a whole series on our spray robot and how to run it. And, so it goes all the way from learning it ourselves, and then the folks on the floor get trained, and a lot of times we'll use a certified trainer, and so then they will train everybody else. So even though my team is only 7 people on it, but we have over 80 trainers on our production floor in El Cajon, and we have over 110 of them on the floor in Tecate, to make sure that, the message is getting across and the training that is needed is taking place.
Hey, Lund.
Yes, Jay.
You do a lot of work. Do you envy the amount of work that Joe has to do? I mean, we work hard at Taylor. All of us work.
I can't even just imagine greeting every new employee. That's enough. That sounds like one job in itself right there. But you know what? I have a confession, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done onboarding.
Well, that we're going to change that for you, Andy. We're going to change that. Now you're on the list.
But I want to. I think I was gone a lot and just didn't work out. But I really want to do it.
Okay. Well,
you know what? A cutting board like Jay.
Then you want to go through guitar fundamentals. That's
okay.
Yep. And we have openings. We have openings coming up right now. So
I got a feeling I'm going to get signed up right after the show.
I think so.
Yeah, you'll get an email. All I need you to do is click confirm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And pick a time. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. All right, Joe. Let's move on just a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, focus. You focus a lot on growing all of us at Taylor as leaders and future leaders too. It's not just everything else you just spoke about, and building content to teach people how to sell guitars and internally and answering questions on how tools work, et cetera, et cetera. But now that we've transitioned to 100% employee ownership, how important is the growth of Taylor as a company in the future for us and for future Taylor customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the leadership aspect of it, and understanding what it means to be an employee owner is is something that I'm really looking forward to everybody learning about at Taylor, because this is something relatively new. And before we rolled out our ESOP and became owners, I was engaged early, and it was said, okay, now we're going to need to teach our employees what it means to be an employee owner and what does that look like. And so the beginning of that was, first I had to understand it myself. And, with our leadership team, it's really great because we met on a regular basis to really kind of figure out what is going to make the most sense for our employees to understand about being an owner. But it's not just understanding what an ESOP is and what the retirement is going to look like, but it's also what can you do to impact our bottom line every day now that you're an employee owner. And this is something that is an ongoing project. We're working on it. We're going to continue to deliver different offerings and development for our employees to take up and to learn and see really how what they do every single day impacts their job. And, being a leader is one of those things. And, we're going to just continue to expand the offerings of developing our folks to understand all those aspects.
All right. I'm going to bring in sports for just a second.
Okay.
All right. Before we get into sports, we're going to talk about sports. Jo, the importance of, but you're like Taylor's like front office. We're going to talk about front office real quick. Like you are the GM for sure, right? You are making sure that we're doing everything properly. Why is it so important for us to build our bench? Because that's what we do. You teach that. You're teaching us all how to do it, from what I do, from what Andy does, all the way down and all the way up. Why is that so important?
Well, it's important for the sustainability of our company. And can I put a plug in here that we are hiring, right? And I just said, somebody said, when can I start? I'm plugging it right now. Go to our careers page. Anyway, it's so important for us to build our bench, because as our employees continue to grow, we also want them to be tenured. We want them to stay with us and for their entire career and have a passion to work for Taylor like most of us do. And how cool is it if we can give them the tools and give them the development that they need to become the leader that we all know that they are? Because things change every single day. Things change, and our company continues to grow. When I got here, I think I was probably I was in the 700 number of employees, and today we're at 1,200. So that means that every single year we continue to grow, and we need folks that want to support and reinforce the Taylor message and the Taylor passion and the culture. And so building that bench so we can continue to move people up and make them happy. We want them to enjoy that coming to work, right? We want them to say, all right, I get to go to Taylor. It's not like, oh, I got to go to work today. We want them to enjoy, know that they have a career at Taylor instead of just a job that they're going to come to.
Yeah, that's great. All right, this is I've been waiting for this question. Jo,
yes.
First and foremost, everybody in the feed, I would like you to put your hands together and clap and give Jo a round of applause, because she just hit her 7th year at Taylor Guitars.
I did.
Happy anniversary, Jo.
Thank you.
All right. What have you learned most from your time at Taylor Guitars, Jo?
Besides how to build a guitar, I would have to say, and I'm going to give this to Sean, is grace. Yeah. And grace is what I think I've learned more than anything. Coming from company that, as Sony was so huge, and not that they didn't give grace. And I've worked with a lot of companies in my tenure, but making sure that we give each other grace and really stopping and thinking about what does that mean. And that's who, we are at Taylor. And I have to give it to Sean. She's the one that said, we got to give grace. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned.
All right, we're going to play a game. You don't even know about this game, Andy, and neither does Jo. No one knows about this because it's not on the Run a Show. We're going to play a game.
Okay.
What happens whenever you get in a room with Jo and she does a training session of some sort, or we have a meeting? Jo says, all right, I want one word that describes how you're feeling. We're going to go around in a circle real quick in this little 3-person circle. We're going to start with you, Andy Lund. What is your word? How are you feeling right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
A little nervous.
Why?
Because it's prime time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And you're in the North Woods. I get it. I get it. Okay. Joe, what's your word?
Pumped.
Pumped.
Yeah. A lot of energy pumping through.
All right. Joe, what's my word? Let's see. My word. NASCAR.
Oh,
Yes.
it's a good word.
Sports is going to be so good tonight. Anyway, all right. Joe, that's our Taylor segment. Now I'm going to ask you some useless questions, as we said.
Okay.
And then we're going to take some questions from the feed, and we're going to keep the show moving. Joe, what is your favorite color?
Red.
Red.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You wear red a lot. Okay. What is your favorite band or artist?
Currently, Chris Stapleton is on the top of my list.
Mom. Am I right, Mom? Right? My mom loves Chris Stapleton. I love Chris Stapleton. He's so great. He's so talented. Lund, how do you feel about Chris Stapleton?
I feel like you guys talk about him a lot, and I don't know enough about him, actually. So
Dude, my friend,
check it out.
To dive deep.
All right, on the list. Check. Boxes checked.
Okay.
The guy is, and everybody in the feed, back me up here. If you have not listened to Chris Stapleton and given yourself some time, trust Joe, me, but mostly trust my mother, who watches the show every single week. Listen to Chris Stapleton. You'll be stoked.
There's a lot of people that I trust with musical tastes, and that his name comes up quite often. So I'm behind, but I'm always like 5 years behind whatever's cool. So
okay, all right, Joe, what's your favorite song?
Right now, I think it's Soul by Lee Brice. I love the rhythm. I mean, it's just got a great beat, but then there's also Beer, Wine, and Whiskey. I like that song too. Maybe I have a theme. I don't know, but it is. Those are my 2 top right now.
All right. What is the best live show you've ever seen?
I am going to say Zach Brown here in San Diego. Yes, he did his show was amazing. Amazing. At
the amphitheater that they changed the name of all the time?
Yes, Coors Amphitheater. I think maybe it was called at one time. Yes, it was great.
It often has a mattress sponsor. Have you realized that? It's like 3 or 4 different mattress firm, and then like totally sweet mattress. I mean, there's great. And do you remember your first day at Taylor Guitars?
So it's not necessarily my first day, but my first week. 2 amazing things happened. I was taken to lunch by Bob. One, Bob Taylor, yes, and Sean, and we went for pho. It was great. And he just wanted to get to know me. And then the next day, Kurt, I was taken to lunch with Kurt, and I can just remember being with both of these gentlemen in it was the second and third day I was here. So I went to lunch with them separately, and they just really wanted to get to know me and understand, my background. And really it was for me to get to know them as well and understand who they were and what they stood for. And I think that those 2 meetings stand out more than anything.
Hey, Andy, have you ever gone out to lunch with Kurt?
Yes, I have.
Well, you traveled with Kurt a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, I've traveled quite a bit with Kurt. I was lucky. Yeah.
I wish we could get Kurt on Primetime. I love Kurt. Like, I have not really eaten lunch with Kurt. I have been with Kurt while he's eating lunch, which is also very interesting because he's Kurt. I would love Kurt on the show.
He's got some great stories. I mean,
he does.
When he gets going on the stories, it's pretty riveting.
And he doesn't forget anything you tell him. Any detail you tell him, he still knows that I've got grandkids and all of those other, he remembers everything. Everything you tell him, he remembers. It's amazing.
Yeah.
My first interaction with Kurt was on my first day. I was walking in and I held the door open because I saw that it was Kurt, and I had done my research. I knew who he was. And I held the door open and he walked in and he looked down and said, "Nice shoes." That was my first interaction with Kurt. And, I'm gonna tell you a really good Kurt story. This is a baseball story. I lost my brother-in-law by marriage. He passed away, and he was a huge Cubs fan, like the biggest Cubs fan on the planet. I would say arguably bigger than Paul Tobias, Cubs fan. And Kurt, his parents were Cubs fans, I believe. And randomly one day, he just walked up to my desk with this very old Wrigley Field print poster in like a real cheap frame, and he's like, "You need this." And that was it. And he knew everything that was going on, but you're right. He doesn't forget a thing, and he knows so much about everybody that he works with. He's so great. We need Bob and Kurt at the same time on the show. Think we can do it?
Well, you've had Bob though 4 times already. I think you need to, have Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have Kurt. Let's see if we can do this. If we get ourselves together, we're going to have to write a petition, and we're going to have to we'll get him on the show. Raise your hand in the feed if you want Kurt on the show. That would be fantastic. We would love that. All right, Joe. Joe, you're so great. I would like the feed to ask you some questions. I think that you've been inspiring. You inspire us all. You do truly make us smarter. I mean, it's a thing it's a passion that you have. I can't thank you enough. You've made my job here at Taylor Guitars better. You make me better. It's something that you just have this natural ability to do, and we're so stoked to have you on the show. It's been so great.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
All right, we have to get some questions here. Lund, do you have any questions to kick it off for Joe? None? You have questions?
Well, mine will be, I'll say, hey, Joe, we need to get some training for our friends in Asia.
Haha, yes, we do. We know that is on our radar for sure.
Okay.
We're working on it.
You see, because I don't get a chance to talk to Joe very often, Jay, and so I just had to say that right now, because we have a lot of people there who love our guitars in those countries, and they want to know more about them. We have the products that have drive people to want to know about them and want to be successful selling them and also playing them. So I'll be happy to help everybody work on that. So when we're ready for it.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to sign you up.
Okay.
I love it.
Onboarding first, though.
Yeah.
What about us up here in Canada?
No, towards onboarding.
No, towards onboarding.
Okay, Gabe, do we have any questions? Ooh, would Joe consider Taylor to be a learning organization? Great question, Craig.
Thank you. Yes. And the reason I say that is because before I was brought to Taylor, we did have a training team, though it was really important for the leadership. Said we want to make sure that we have a learning organization, and so that's why they brought me on board to develop the training team and to develop the training culture that Taylor has now, and so we can continue to grow. So absolutely,
the good one. What is your ratio of trainers to employees? Congratulations on 7 years too.
Well, thank you for that. So, depends on what it is. When you get on the production floor, it is 1-to-1. So you have a trainer that's by your side, and we have a whole program for a new hire in a department, and it could last 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, depending on what we're going to be training you on. But you have a trainer by your side, 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
Because like Jay said, we don't practice. So when you are hired on the floor, you are working on a guitar that we plan on selling. So it's super important that we're giving you what you need to be successful.
Absolutely no stress. There's no stress in that.
No stress.
Timothy Sue, how do you keep the training consistent and helpful for users who might be from different generations and also
Okay. Yeah, Timothy, that's a great question. So one of the first things we do during your orientation is we actually have you take a learning style assessment, so we understand how you learn. Are you more of an audio or hands-on? So what is your learning style? So that's super important for us to know first. And then we have a blended learning experience here at Taylor. So we're going to give you some videos. We're going to give you a little bit of reading. We're going to do hands-on. So we mix up the blended learning. So we make sure we understand how you learn best. And then when you get on the floor with your one-on-one trainer, we actually tell them what your learning style is so they can adapt their training style to the best way that you learn.
Wow.
Ah. Ooh, what is the most counterintuitive but true thing you've learned working for Taylor Guitars?
Counterintuitive, but the thing you've learned, that's a tough one. Counterintuitive.
It must have something to do with working with guitar players.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
and musicians in general, I would guess.
Well, you know what it is so one of the things that I've learned is one of the gentlemen on my team is a luthier, and he is a very analytical luthier, but he's also a guitar player. And so you would think that him being a guitar player would make him not, he's very lineal. And so I think I had to understand that at first. It's like, wait, you think this way, but you're creative and you're a guitar player. So that does lend itself to that question. And because and that it takes all types, and what they do at work isn't necessarily always what they do when they're at home.
He's also a lute. Didn't he start building lutes? He did.
I can't answer that for sure. I don't know.
I think so. Like I think we're talking about the same person. We don't need top names, but maybe we do. He's so talented. Anyway, he's one of the smartest guys I've ever met.
Yes.
Taylor. Gabe, next question. What is your favorite Taylor guitar? Okay.
So I think my favorite Taylor guitar is probably because I don't play, so you should know that I don't play. I love music, but I am not a guitar player. But I probably think the 214. And see, because it's hanging in my office. So when people come in and they want to play the guitar, because we do that here, we have guitars hanging all over the place that they can just pull it off the wall and play.
But the one in your office there's something different about it. It's been there for a while and it's very broken in. And I would probably agree with that guitar is special.
Yeah, it is very special. Though, we were selling so many guitars last year, I think that I got mine. They might have put a new one in there since then.
JoAnn, was it difficult for you to come from a company like Sony to a company such as Taylor that builds such a specific thing and attracts?
That's a good question.
It attracts specific people who want to work there. There's I think that Jay and I are both on the show tonight because we just started out as guitar players, as in high school wanting to be in a band, and there's a lot of people who gravitate towards the company for that exact reason. And what's your opinion, or what things have you noticed about the kind of people who you have to train and that you have to help become smarter? Dope.
Uh-oh. We lost Joe again.
One more time.
One more time. You back?
How about now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went to work for Sony because it's such an iconic brand, and I use the products, right? So I believed in the products. And when I was offered the position here at Taylor, and of course I did my homework and found out, and the brand was amazing. I mean, it's almost, you drink the Kool-Aid, and because our brand is so amazing. And when I am working with new hires, I always ask them, where'd you work before, and why did you come? Why are you here? And most of them will say, I love the brand, or a friend of mine works here and they love the culture. And I think that it's so important that you do appreciate the brand. And if I think about what our founders, I love that we are a sustainable company with high integrity. And, the message has always been do the right thing. And I think that when you work here and you come to work here, that's what we stand for. And that's what makes it so cool to work here. So being in a manufacturing, I had a lot to learn about guitars, let me tell you, right? Sony is a manufacturer as well, but it's totally different than when you come here and when you walk in on our production floor. It's a totally different scenario than working on a TV, or in those components and things, versus seeing the guys actually sanding and working and enjoying what they do every single day. So the folks that come to work here, they want to work here.
We had a good question in the feed, and it said, who trains Andy Powers?
Andy trains Andy Powers.
Yeah, there's that.
There's that.
All right.
I think that Bob's done a lot of mentoring. Both Bob and Kurt have done a lot of mentoring for Andy. I mean, that's kind of a different kind of thing, but Bob always likes to talk about how Andy is capable of building anything, and Bob helps him to build thousands of anything.
Yeah, that's a Bobism.
Absolutely.
In my life. All right, we'll have two more questions from the feed, and then we will move the show along. There's so much goodness coming still. All right, two more questions. Gabe, you got any? Great question and answer about learning styles. Makes me wonder, how do you train the trainer? Thanks for the great show.
So what we do with the trainers is, first off, you have to want to be a trainer. We don't pay our folks extra to be trainers. It's something that we ask them, would you like to be a trainer? And they have to say yes. We actually interview them. I interview them before we put them through the Train the Trainer program. And then we teach them about learning styles, and we teach them about how to communicate and how to listen, super important, and some cues and clues from the learner. Then we also do a training and a coach where they actually get to play a trainer. And then someone else will play the new hire, the person they're training, and somebody will be a coach. And we actually work through that. And so they get 3 days over time, 3 days of training before they become a certified trainer. And we just got to make sure that it's the right person doing the right job and that they want to do it.
That's great. One more question from the feed. Gabriel, how many people work in the two main factories? Great question.
So total or just on the floor?
Let's do total.
So I believe in El Cajon as of last week, and I know Sarah's listening, so she might have to check me on this. I think the number was 528 here in El Cajon. And I believe in Tecate, we are at, I want to say like 640, but I'm not positive on that, on the Tecate number. But so in our Tecate plant in August, we went to a 24/7. And so we have actually 4 shifts that work in our Tecate plant, 6 to 6. And they work either Monday through Thursday or Friday through Sunday. And so it's pretty amazing how many folks we have working there right now, 24/7.
And all of them have to be trained.
Yes.
All have to know what they're doing.
Yes.
If you are Bob Taylor, you say you have the answer where you ask the question. So one thing that our training team does is if there's a question about a tool, there has to be the answer about that tool right there. It's phenomenal. Closer to 750.
750. Thank you, Sarah. See, I knew Sarah was on. So yeah, that's awesome. So that puts us up to almost 1,300 employees, which is amazing.
So I have a question. I've wondered this throughout the show. What do we do with all of our folks in Amsterdam? How does the training work there? How does that work?
So a few different things. So in Amsterdam, it's sales and service. So it's not a production facility, though we do provide for our non-production folks. We have what we call a development roadmap for each of our roles here at Taylor. And we work with the hiring manager to come up with what that looks like. And then it's a roadmap for that hiring manager to train them. So the majority of our folks from our Amsterdam office are our sales associates across Europe, and then it's sales and service. So we have a repair shop and we have a warehouse. So it's a little different. I'm fortunate enough I get to go over there a couple times a year and also enhance the learning, which is one of my favorite things to do. So, but it is it's a joint venture with our partners in our Amsterdam office.
That's awesome. Jo, you have been amazing. Thank you for joining us on this get to know session here. Taylor Guitars we do all pretty much drink the Kool-Aid. I mean, we drink, we're all employee owners. Everything that we do benefits everybody around us. Thank you. It is an interesting show, and I love that you love your GS Mini. You do truly make us better. You push us, and it's incredible. I feel your passion every time I get an email from you, so it's fantastic. I know it means do it, please. I appreciate that. You don't mince words, and you get stuff done. It's awesome having you on our team. That's for sure. Andy, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Jay?
Well, we got trivia that's going to happen at the end of the show.
Okay.
Before trivia, we're going to have some sports.
Okay.
But right now, even though she's on an airplane flying back to San Diego,
yeah,
it's time for Lindsay's question.
Wow.
It is time for Lindsay's question. So here's what we're going to do. Will you play a song? And then we have a special fly-in clip from Lindsay Love.
Okay. Lindsay has a question on video. We never know what she wants to know. She'll play her hand. We'll know where Jo stands. She's just trying to get to know JoAnn.
Awesome. Gabe, will you roll the clip?
All right, my question for you, Jo, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there for your episode, but my question for you is, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Maybe this is where my mom got that a drama queen. I think I wanted to be an actress.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know what it was going to take to be it, but I think when she asked me that question, that's what I can remember. Do plays and skits and things like that all the time.
I think if you asked my mother would say I wanted to be a garbage man. Like legitimately, the dude on the back of the garbage truck's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Just get to hang out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember living in like a cul-de-sac in Thousand Oaks, California, where like the garbage truck would come around and I would run outside 4 or 5 years old looking at it. And I thought that was the coolest thing. You wanted to be an actress.
I think so. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Andy,
Yes.
you don't know what's next, but I know what's next.
Okay.
You have so much reverb. It's tight. All right.
Sorry about that. No, I don't.
Gabriel, you know what time it is? This is a very special episode of sports. Ladies and gentlemen, for Joe Peterson, 3 minutes of sports. 3 minutes of sports. Gabe, on the clip.
Okay.
Yes.
Three minutes of sports. Parkin's favorite part. Out on the track, burning up brakes. 200 laps might be all it takes. Only turn one way, ain't no super freeway. Win or bust, you can eat my dust on 3 minutes of sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing 3 minutes of sports for the late, great Dale Earnhardt Sr. I do have, my mom's probably bummed about this, but I do have a number 3 tattooed on me. I grew up with a dad who worked at Pontiac, so we grew up around the racetrack. I absolutely love this. And when we were talking about having Joe on the show, she said, you know, of course I reach out and I say, what's your favorite baseball team? She says, well, not really a baseball fan, but I guess it'd be the Padres. I'm wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat for Steven Matz, who was on the Mets, and now he's on the Toronto Blue Jays. He is a Taylor player. His wife's a Taylor player. Anyway, all right, we'll go past that. And I said, so what sport do you like? And she said, well, I like football a bit. So who's your team? She says, the Cowboys. Well, I'm never going to wear a Cowboys hat. No way you could get me wearing a Cowboys hat, but I will talk about Troy Aikman. I'm a fan of Troy Aikman. And Joe said, you know what, Jay? I'm a big NASCAR fan. And I did that dance, the same dance that you did when you got the offer phone call. I was dancing. I was like, yes, someone will talk NASCAR with me because, you know, not everybody's into it.
No, they're not.
I'm into NASCAR. Joe, have you ever been, first of all, what got you into NASCAR?
Well, I'd have to say the love of my life did about 6 years ago. He really kind of grabbed me and got me into it.
So your husband is a fan of the sport. And
yes, he is.
What got you hooked? What was it?
You know what? After we were together for about 1.5 years, I surprised him with a trip to the Daytona 500.
Nice.
And it was an amazing experience. Amazing.
Daytona. I have never been to the Daytona 500. That is a bucket list thing for me. That's for sure. It's loud.
Yes.
It's the loudest sport on the planet, I believe. And I mean, and I guess unless you're putting your head behind a jet, but
yeah, exactly.
But he wants to do that. It's a loud sport. Who's your favorite racer?
Right now, it is Chase Elliott, number 9.
Chase Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your favorite racer?
Jimmy Johnson was until he retired.
Jimmy Johnson, an El Cajon boy.
Yes, he was.
Johnson. The guy knows a few things about racing some laps. Now he's in Indy.
Yes, he is.
That's fantastic. All right. So my favorite race car driver would probably be, well, I was a big Dale Jr. fan for a long time, but I love the drivers that not a lot of people like. So I was a big fan of Tony Stewart until he retired. Not a lot of people.
I liked him.
Smoke, they call him, right? I was a big fan. I am a big fan of Rowdy Busch. So Kyle Busch, that's good. I love him. I think no one likes him. Well, no one really likes his brother, Kurt. Kurt's a little bit of a whiny little dude. But anyway, It's all good. I'm so stoked that you love NASCAR. So stoked that you love NASCAR. And I hope, look at this. Look at all the people in the feed. Jimmy is in Indy. I know it's weird, but it's great.
It is.
I can smell rubber. I live near Texas Speedway. That's great. Rusty Wallace, we're getting so okay. So we have some NASCAR fans on here. Because of this, ladies and gentlemen, our trivia question tonight is a NASCAR question, and I'm excited about it. Ladies and gentlemen, NASCAR question on Taylor Primetime. Gabriel, don't show them the question yet. You guys know how this works. We have one prize tonight, one answer. So what we need get your racing hats on, get your Googles ready, because I know some people are going to be researching real quick. This is going to be so good. All right. The rules are, we should actually let Gabe answer. Okay. The rules are Paul Tobias and Gabriel O'Brien cannot answer the question. You know it. If you are the first in the feed to answer the question correctly, Gabe will post it and you will send us an email to primetime@taylorguitars.com and we'll get you your prize sorted out. All right. I love it so much. Gabriel, show them the question. What driver holds the record for most consecutive NASCAR championships?
Most days it don't matter how much useless stuff you know. Not on prime time, and the part we know as trivia. The winner takes the suede trivia. If you left, you should have stayed for trivia.
Good job.
Stan? Oh, man. JD Stan, Jimmy Johnson, El Cajon Boy. We had to tie it together. We'll get you your stuff sent out to you. You got a exotic wall hanger and a care package, including a strap. No, you won't win anything.
No, Paul.
Paul, you won't win anything, but check this out, dude. Check this out. In 2016, your Cubs beat Gabe's Cleveland Indians. Just saying, in Game 7 of the World Series. Joe, what a fantastic show. We are so stoked to have you on. I know that you watch the show. We appreciate that. Yes, people at Taylor Guitars watch Taylor Primetime. It's pretty great. We are lucky people. It's been so great having you on. So what did you think about your first time on Taylor Primetime?
I loved it. It's just fun as I thought it was going to be.
All right. That means we're going to have to find a way for Joe to come back. I love it. Thank you so much.
I'd love to.
Lindsay Love is on a plane. She's safely traveling back from Nashville. She will be on the show next week. Don't worry. She's working on the plane, answering questions for us. This was so good. Thanks so much, Joe, for your time. Timothy, we couldn't agree with you more. Next week is going to be a good one. I just learned that
I love that idea.
Taylor should sponsor a car. That would be awesome. I just learned that next week is our 1-year anniversary.
Yay.
Of Taylor Primetime. We should do something special. I have an idea. We are going to have a guest on next week, and they are going to be a really, really, really cool person. Maybe a famous person. And we're not going to tell anyone who's going to be on the show. So we're going to go live with no guest, and we're going to surprise everybody with the guest. How's that? That seems like a fun game.
That's cool.
Now I got to pull this off.
Yeah.
I think we can pull it off. We can do it. I think we have somebody in mind that would be a superstar of sorts who could get on here with us. That would be fun. Anyway, Zach Brown would be cool. Thanks for wearing a Blue Jays hat. All right. I'm glad I wore a Blue Jays hat. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you, everybody, week in and week out, for hanging out with us. Thank you, Mom, for watching. Thank you, Sarah, for watching. Thank you, everybody. Joe, it's been so great. We couldn't agree more. Andy, would you like to take it away?
What was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? What was that? Well, that was prime time. That was another prime time. Show number 43. Thanks to JoAnn Peterson for showing us how to lead. Jo greets every new employee, teaches them the Taylor way. The goal is to build the best guitars, to keep the quality every day. Yeah, first she creates a heads-up doc for new guitars coming down the line. 1,200 employees, how do you find the time to be on prime time and talk about NASCAR? We did all right for only 3 people, huh?
Yes.
See you, Lindsay. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a good week. Take care.
Bye.